This story was submitted by Nick. This is a really crazy story that happened to me over the summer. My friends and I were at a reservoir in my town, having a small fire on the beach. There was about 15 of us there. We were drinking, smoking weed, normal teenage stuff. There were a few girls at this party. One of them, Sarah, had just broken up with her boyfriend, who she had dated for a couple of years. He was a real psycho. He yelled at her a lot. They would often get into blown-out arguments in public, and he even hit her once. Her brothers threatened to beat the guy up if he ever went near Sarah again after that. The night was going pretty well. I was a couple of beers deep, so I was feeling nice. Suddenly, Sarah's boyfriend walks over screaming at her. "What the fuck are you doing here?" He and Sarah start getting into a shouting match, and that's when me and my friends tell him to leave. He starts getting in my face now. I tell him, "Get the fuck out of here before I knock you the fuck out." He pushes me down, and that's when my friend John cold clocks him right in the jaw. I get up and start punching him too. I give him a good punch to the nose. He writhes in pain, but John keeps trying to hit him though. It took me and two of my other friends to stop him from fucking killing the kid. He goes back to his pickup truck screaming at us that we're fucking dead if he ever sees us again. After that, the night ended pretty well. Sarah asked me if she could stay at my house tonight because she didn't feel safe at her house with her psycho ex-boyfriend all pissed off. I thought she was being a little paranoid, but she was totally serious. Sarah and I have been friends for a long time, so I know when she's being serious. We put the fire out at about 1 a.m, and my friend David, who was our designated driver for the night, takes John, Sarah, and me back to my dad's house, where we all crashed. My dad was away for the weekend, so I had the house to myself. I was woken up at about 3:30 to a text message from an unknown number. I opened it, and it sent a chill down my spine. It read, "I know where you live," in all capital letters. And then I got a message with my dad's address. I replied, "Who is this?" as if I didn't already know. "You know exactly who this is," he replied, again in all caps. "I'll be seeing you soon." I responded furiously, "You come anywhere near Sarah, me, or my house, and it'll be the last thing you do, you fuck." After that, I woke up John and David and tell them what's going on. My dad is a gun collector. He had a solid collection of rifles, pistols, and shotguns. If this kid thinks he's getting anywhere near my house without getting shot, he's crazy. We went down to the basement and grabbed what we needed. I armed myself with my dad's shotgun, David grabbed my dad's .45, and John got my dad's Winchester rifle. I was the only one who actually got rounds though. I knew that none of us were actually prepared to shoot Sarah's boyfriend. It was more of an intimidation factor if he really decided to come to my house. It was then that I finally woke up Sarah, who was in the upstairs bedroom, and told her what was happening. She started to cry and say that she needed to get out of there. She still had some alcohol in her system, so she was acting a little crazy. I told her to stay in the bedroom, and that we will handle her boyfriend if he decided to come to us. We all sat in my living room, guns in hand, watching the road. I was there for about an hour, just staring at the road, when suddenly I saw headlights on the road, so I quickly ducked below the window. I peeked up and saw a pickup truck in front of my house. I stayed low and loaded 2 shells in my shotgun. "It's him," my friend whispered. I peek out the window to see him. He was wearing a black hoodie. When he got closer, I saw that he had a fucking axe in his hand. I can see him on my porch, twisting the doorknob. I hide behind my couch. Fuck, I forgot to lock it, I thought. He flicks on the light, and that's when I decided to act. "You want me? You got me, motherfucker!" I shouted as I point my shotgun at him. "Oh shit!" he shouts as he darts out the door. My friends and I chase him into the yard. He hurls his axe at us, just missing John by an inch. Then he frantically gets in his truck. I yank him out and point my gun at him while David gets out his phone and calls the cops. I held him down until the cops came. My dad came home too, and we told him what happened. Later I found out that he already had a record of stalking and aggravated assault. I'm just glad to know that now Sarah won't have to deal with someone like that in her life anymore. This story was submitted by Starr. Let's start off by saying that my mom's a really pretty lady, who's all around a nice person. She's definitely not someone you want to mess with though, and when she wants to, she really gives off that vibe. She spent the last couple of years working as a bartender, but while I was in high school, she worked at a strip club in Detroit. She used to tell me it reminded her of House of a Thousand Corpses or some Quentin Tarantino film. As expected, she's experienced some of the weirdest people you can imagine. You'll never meet people like the ones you meet in Detroit. One night her and her friend were leaving work at around 2:30 in the morning. As she was getting into her car, she noticed a car pull into the parking lot. She recognized the car as it belonged to a customer she'd seen a few times. This was odd, because the bar had been closed for over an hour, and she had not seen him in there that night. My mom climbs into her car, and her friend Lindsay climbs into hers, and they pull out of the parking lot. My mom checks her mirror to see the man's car pull out right after them. My mom calls Lindsay and tells her to keep following her to the gas station, but not to get out of the car. Lindsay happens to live a few streets from our house, so they would follow each other home just to be safe. They stopped at the same gas station every night to buy a soda and a pack of smokes. My mom watches as the man pulls into the gas station, parks, and goes inside. When she sees him walk to the cooler and pull out something to drink, she tells Lindsay to leave and they would go to another gas station on the way home, feeling creeped out at this point. She doesn't see the man after a minute of driving, so feeling relieved, she flips on her blinker and turns into another station. Lindsay parks, and they go inside. There's a few people in the gas station, which isn't surprising, as they're still in Detroit, and people are always around at night. Once they are in line, my mom's heart drops into her stomach as she watches the man from the bar come in, grab a pop from the cooler, and stand in line behind her. She feels her friend tense up beside her, and she starts running through all the shit that this guy could be trying to do. Now, as I stated earlier, my mom really isn't the kind of woman you want to upset. She really doesn't give a shit, especially if you're making her uncomfortable. She turns around and looks the guy dead in the face and yells, "What the fuck do you want? Why are you following us? I just watched you grab a pop at the other gas station. Why the hell did you follow us here? Are you trying to kidnap us or something? I saw you!" The guy's face goes white, and he makes a startled sound, like he can't believe she had the nerve to call him out like that. Everyone in the gas station is staring at them now. Even Lindsay's eyes are wide. My mom turns to the people in line ahead of her and the clerk and yells, "Take his license plate number. Don't let him leave until we are gone. If we come up missing, it was this motherfucker." She grabs Lindsay and storms out to her car. The people in the gas station must have kept him inside, because she didn't see him leave as she looked behind her while pulling out of the parking lot. She drove home safely and never saw his car again. She never saw that creep around the bar again either. This story was submitted by Annie. I am a 16-year-old girl whose parents are lorry drivers, so I'm pretty much alone all week. My brother has moved out, but he works close by, so sometimes he'll come around after work if he finishes his shift early in the morning, and I usually leave the key out for the door. I'm not usually sure what day he works, as we don't talk very much since he moved out. It's about 2 a.m., maybe 3 a.m., when someone starts pounding on the door while ringing the doorbell, like holding their finger on the doorbell so that it was constant. I don't like opening the door in the middle of the night, even if it is my brother, so I called his phone. He answers after about 7 rings, in a sleepy tone, and asks me what I'm doing calling him at 3 a.m. That's when my heart dropped. Who was slamming into my door at 3 in the morning? I was so scared, I didn't have to tell my brother what was going on, because he could hear from my phone how loud the person at the door was. He told me to call him back, and hung up immediately so I could call the police. I still hadn't left my room, or even looked out the window. I couldn't pluck up the courage. My bedroom is directly above the front door, so if I looked, I would be able to see whoever was outside, although there isn't a front porch light, so it wouldn't be worth looking. Anyone who means anything to my family has a key. They wouldn't need to knock if they wanted to stay the night. My brother calls me back and asks if he's still there. In my fright, I hadn't realized that it was now silent. My granddad lives just down the street, so my brother let me go so I could call him. I felt bad since he's quite old, but he can handle himself as he's tall and well built. He answered, and I told him that I think someone may be in the house, and that I was still awaiting the police. He said he'd be right down to check it out. I made sure to tell him to bring his key, as the front door was locked. He stayed on the phone until he got to my front door, and he proceeded to tell me that the front door was unlocked. I was losing my shit. I have a huge cupboard in my room that's mainly empty, and I was more than able to climb in, which is what I did. My granddad found some random guy in the kitchen, looking through the cupboards and the fridge. He was high as a kite, and he had no idea that he wasn't in his own house. He thought his girlfriend had locked him out, and he didn't have his key, so he picked the lock. The police arrived just as my granddad found the man. He had left the door open, so they let themselves in and handcuffed the man for breaking and entering. My granddad collected me from the cupboard, and I stayed at his house for the next few nights until my parents arrived home. My brother now always lets me know when he's coming by. That way, if he isn't, I can put the chain on and bolt the door, so there is no way anyone is getting in. If you enjoyed this video, then you know what to do. I really appreciate everyone sending in all their stories, and if you would like to share your own story, I'll have all the information in the description. So I'm happy that everyone from the first story was okay, and happy they had firearms on hand so they could defend themselves. That dude was obviously there to do some harm, hence the axe, and the threatening text messages. I think it's awesome that they were able to get the guy and hold him till the police arrived. And kinda scary that he already had a previous record, but what do you expect? The second story, I think that the mom handled that in the best way possible. Get everyone's attention and point out what he might be trying to do. That way it might deter him because now there's a lot of witnesses. I think that's really smart for a lot of people if they're in that situation to just make a scene. Worst that's going to happen is you're going to look crazy, but at least you're not going to end up dead. So in the third story, that guy must have been really high if he broke into someone's house and didn't recognize that it wasn't his. It's probably a good thing they stayed hidden, especially if the dude high off his rocker thought someone broke into his house, which was actually quite the opposite. At least they caught that guy as well, and no one was injured. I hope you all have a great day, and once again, if you would like to share your story, I'll have all the information in the description. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another video, and just remember, it's always scarier if it's true. So this is a special story for everyone who stays to the end of my videos. This is a true scary story that happened to me yesterday. My wife was there too, but this didn't traumatize her like it did me. So here's the setup. It's not scripted, I'm just saying it off the top of my head, so if it doesn't sound fluent, sorry. Okay, so my wife and I went up to a local bar to play poker. We decided to order food and have it saved for us to go. So we played our poker tournament, got knocked out, and came home. The house was dark, just like it normally was. We made our way inside, and something smelt as if it was dead. I looked around the living room and saw nothing, and then walked into my dining room. I opened up the to-go container, and what was inside brought me to tears. They had messed up my order, and rather than me getting a mushroom Swiss burger, they gave me a bacon and blue cheese burger. I looked at it, wiped my eyes, and immediately called them back. They apologized profusely and told me the next time I come up, it'll be on them. I had nightmares all night about it last night, and I woke up today with this emptiness inside of me. I don't know how to fill it. Maybe I'll have some chili later tonight, and hopefully that will be the end of it. But I still wonder.